To my fellow Canadian friends, happy Canada Day weekend. Now let's all get ready to celebrate with some fireworks and fun. And to all my American followers, Independence Day is just around the corner, so wishing you a fantastic holiday. Now, for anyone celebrating any other holidays this weekend, have a wonderful time as well. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you're celebrating. I'd love to hear from you. Now, onto the project. Now, I apologize that I wasn't able to get a USA flag this time around because I know that the majority of my followers are from the US. But I wanted to show you this Canadian flag I made using the Longmill CNC, and maybe down the line I'll get around to making the other flags. Let's dive in and see the challenges I faced and the final outcome. Now, you might be wondering why I said, just in time in my thumbnail. Well, it's just because of my my procrastination type of habit that I have, where it's like, oh, I have lots of time to make this project, and I do other things, at the beginning of the week, because I had all the intentions to start early in the week and have this done by Thursday, so that I get the video out by Friday. But of course, I left it until at least Wednesday to start deciding, okay, I'm going to cut up some wood and glue it up so that it's ready to carve on Thursday. I'll be able to carve it and stain it, and then, like I said, do the video for Friday. But of course, that didn't exactly turn out the way I expected. As you can see here, I am using some pine boards, and what you probably noticed in the thumbnail or at the beginning, that it wasn't a pine sign that you had there. Because I've waited so long to actually look at the file that I purchased. And by the way, I bought this file off of Etsy. I'll leave a link down below in case you're interested in trying to recreate this flag with your CNC machine. It worked out quite well. But that just to say that I didn't even look at the directions that came with the file until I think Wednesday evening or Thursday, and it is and the file directions say to use 1.5 inch boards. And as you can see here, these are not 1.5 inch boards; these are 3/4 inch boards. And of course, I am probably one of the messiest gluers out there. I do love using these little mustard 2 bottles for the glue, but it was a little bit stuck at the beginning, and as I was pushing it, it really came out there. So that's why it was a big blob at the beginning. But yeah, here I'm using the clamp technique because with these pipe clamps, they tend to pop up on the edges as you are tightening them. And just a note, and I maybe make a video out of this at some point, but somebody commented that they use little wedges or brad nails to tighten up that loose ends on those pipe clamps so they don't go up. So that might be a little trick. I haven't tried it, but I just use these cauls to try and hold everything down. So here I am, of course, prepping all this wood just to find out that I can't even use it. So I'll probably end up using this for another project down the line somewhere. But yeah, you'll see me shortly that I decided to go with the cedar. But before I glued up the cedar, I said, okay, I better test this out, test out the file that I purchased, because sometimes you pick up these files and they don't even work or work properly. So I just wanted to make sure that I can actually do a smaller version, and that that the waves are there, and the Canada maple leaf is in there, and so forth. Obviously, being such a small scale, it's not going to be as deep and as pronounced in the design compared to a larger scale that the full size will be. And of course, I always love looking at the CNC machine at this point, seeing it move around in all 3 axes. I'm always surprised that it actually works with the controls on the computer. And so just so you know, I'm using VCarve Pro, and so it didn't have to really do much of designing. It was just more of sort of placement and resizing it in VCarve, and then saving it as a G code so that it can be run through GSender, which is of course the software that communicates with the CNC machine through its control board. And here we go with the first attempt of making sure that it actually carves. And yes, it works quite well. And you see that, like, even though it's a small scale, you can see the waves in it. Now, the instructions for this file did say that there are 2 ways of doing it. One, was that it came with one file that was including the flag, the whole flag with the maple leaf and the two ends in one sort of layer, or we had the option of having two layers, one with just the waves and then the second to have just the maple leaf. So that what you could do is make your whole carving just all the waves, and then stain or paint your whole flag, and then go back and just do the maple leaf part, or I guess the white part of the flag, or the Canada flag would just be it would just carve out the white, still leaving all the curves and everything there as well. So that way you would have to try and, you know, brush it in, paint in the area. That could be a little bit difficult, which you'll see me doing in the end. There was a little bit of difficulty, but it turned out okay in the end. But yeah, so there was two different options. But to do the second option, where you can actually stain the whole thing and then recarve out the white area, you would have to have the Vector Aspire program and not just the Vector VCarve Pro. So I was kind of limited that way. I had no choice but to do it this way. But in the end, it all worked out. So as you can see, I decided to go with the cedar. So doing the whole prep and gluing again, and waiting for that to dry, and then I was able to bring that over to the CNC machine and carve it out. So let's just watch and enjoy as this is carved out with the Longmill CNC. And there we have it. So as you probably noticed, I made the board wider than it needed to be for carving. So that always makes it easier to clamp it down and not worry about, you know, that it's going to hit the clamps or anything like that. But the cool thing is it actually left a bit of a frame look to it. So I decided to leave it as a frame just to see how it looks, and I actually kind of like it. Oh, I had to stop here and show you the prices. This is pre-pandemic prices for stain. Can't believe it's less than even the original price is less than what it costs now for a quart of stain like that. And of course you can see it's almost full. I haven't used this one for quite a long time, but it turned out to be perfect for this project. So I'm quite glad that we still had it. But it was definitely a good price at $8 for a quart here, and I think right now, I could be wrong too, probably around 32 or if not higher for a quart of stain like this. Yeah, so big difference. So here you can see I taped it. I did test it on a small piece first, and then decided to go ahead with it, as it wanted to make sure it wasn't seeping into the wood under the tape. So it did a really good job. It wasn't seeping. The only thing is around the maple leaf itself, because when it's carving, and you notice I was carved on a 45-degree angle, it's not like a very clean line around the maple leaf. It was as if it was carved with a chisel. So it was really hard to tape, and of course some of the stain did get under the tape, but I was able to sand it off just by hand, little piece of sandpaper, and clean it off. And here's the final result. I really love the look of it. All I was left to do is to clear coat, but yeah, I love the shine. It was so smooth and silky. I didn't have to do any sanding at all for the remaining of the wood. It was only the, you know, mishaps with my staining that I had to sand with. And the frame, I mean, it's not perfect, but I kind of like it. It's just, again, this is a prototype. We were just going to keep it for ourselves. So as you can see, the side frame is narrower than the top and bottom, but I still love the look of it. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you found this entertaining, at least, if not educational. If you liked what you saw, please hit the like button. Of course, if you want to see more videos of me using the CNC machine, why not subscribe to our channel? And we'll see you here again at Dusty Workbench. Take care.